Hi guys, welcome back to this series where I teach you how to be a successful solo Eve in 2 hours on live. Now, I am planning to record a video on making a new common tower really soon. Now, a new common tower is not the easiest for someone who's never played the game. So I will already give you instructions on what to prepare in advance. There's quite a bit of stuff that you actually need. And it's not super easy, to be honest, to make all of it. So the things that you have learned to make already, you need 1 bucket of rubber dough, and then you can make 1 vulcanized rubber tire, which is basically the same that you put on the horse cart. So rubber is something you learned. If you've forgotten how to do it, go back to the rubber video and prepare this already in advance before we hit that video. We've also made our first steel already, and you need about 9 steel for what we are about to do, if not more. So maybe 10 steel or something should be enough. Technically, they say that it's only 8 steel to make a new common, but we will also need a file, and I don't think the file is included. And if you do not have a chisel yet, or you already broke your steel chisel, then you will need 10 steel ingots to actually get to where the new common needs to be. Also, I see that I'm a little hungry for a gooseberry, so I'm just quickly going to eat one. So yeah, I hope you're making a few notes here so that yeah, you know what to prepare for already. And what we are dealing with in this video is basically lemons. We have 1 fruit tree and it's empty, and there's no more lemons, and I'm craving lemon. I didn't plan this, but I'm craving lemon. How can I get more lemons? That is what we are going to deal with this video. So that's basically honey. We're going to be teaching you a little bit about honey and about honey boxes and about smacking bees and things like that. Now, I can't eat the lemon yet, so I'll just eat a pie instead. And to go back to the new common stuff, besides the about 10 steel that you need, you will also need 4 wrought iron. You see that I have a little bit more here. And then I've also gathered 2 curved branches, 2 straight branches, 1 new branch, 4 of these stone blocks, which you learned to make when we made these things. And in case you forgot, you use a shovel on a big stone, and then you use a chisel and a mallet on it, and then you separate the stones. You don't keep them together, and you use the chisel and mallet on it again to make that. Speaking of chisel and mallet, I think I still have them on me. There we go. I do not need to keep those on me. I'm certain I have a steel chisel somewhere too. So allow me to look around for that one. Did I put it over here somewhere? Ah, did I not make a steel chisel? Yeah, we did. There we go. We have a steel chisel. Okay. That's going to help us ahead a tiny little bit when we do get to making the new common. So yeah, basically gather all these ingredients that I just said. Get about 4 wrought iron, get about 10 steel, the stone blocks, and a little bit of wood. And you should be good to get started on a new common engine in the next video. So that's what we are meant to do. Now, for this video, we are going to make a bee box, and bee boxes start by smacking bees. Now this here is a bold cypress tree that has bees on them. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna park my horse a little bit further, and this is about speed. I'm gonna smack it with my branch, and I'm gonna run away. Do you see the bees following? Do you see them? If they sting me, they give me yellow fever, but if I'm on a horse, they can't sting me. And if you look very closely, you do see them around me. They're trying to get to me. And I can't just run away from them. They will despawn after 10 moves, so now this has despawned, and what we have over here is a fallen hive. Now you might say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna leave it here, I'm gonna come back for it in 10 minutes. Too late, by then it has despawned. It despawns in 5 minutes, so you use a knife or a sharp stone on it, and you make it into a wild honeycomb. Now this thing does not despawn, so that's even better. And we're going to go and just grab some more from here. There's another bold cypress tree there. You just smack it, you run away. And since I'm getting a little hungry, I'm just going to run away really far. And I'm going to go to the kitchen. while those bees are flying around. Now the thing is, because I've gone so far, those bees have stopped moving on that side of the screen. They're no longer moving now, which means that if I go back to that place, those bees will still be there. And that is sometimes how you can get stung when you're like, nobody is here. Why are these bees here? It's because someone just went away and the bees are still around. I'm not sure if they're still are. Yeah, there they are. Oh, they just despawned over here. But yeah, so if you are going far away immediately after smacking them, the bees might still be around, and it's not ideal. There's another big disadvantage we have to our spawning spot. I'm telling you, the green biome that we have put our home in is really bad. The reason is we don't have a lot of fruit trees, which is very sad. We have this one fruit tree here. But we also do not have any flowers, and we don't have any flowers nearby, which is a bit of a problem too. I did leave a few milkweeds in this place, and I did that for a reason, because if you do not have flowers, milkweeds can give you a little bit of honey too. But now that we're just going around with our two honeycomb, I'm checking over here. There's another cypress tree there that has one of those beehives on it. So let's smack that one too, and let's look around if there's more. And then there's one over here. I'm gonna smack that one too. Oop. You can do this if you don't have a horse, but you just need to keep on running. Also, if you do this in a town with other people, do tell them, hey, I'm smacking bees, everyone get out of the way, and give them time to get out of the way. Also, if you can avoid doing this in a town with little babies, that would be good, because, you know, babies don't run so fast. And they might not be reading what all the adults are saying yet, so yeah. So those bees are over here. See, they didn't despawn yet, because I went away. Now they're gone, so I'm safe to do this. Okay, so let's put these things down over here, and we'll come back to them at this lemon tree. So we've got 4 of them on in total. And we're going to see what we have in terms of wood. We have about 5 wood. That's actually perfect. Okay. 5 bud logs, that is. So all these bud logs you're going to change into boards. I do not like all my chisels jumping at me, so I'm just going to turn that off. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have 4 honeycombs, I'm thinking. I could make 1 base. So out of all these 4 boards, let's make 2 bases though. I feel like 2 bases is better. I'm gonna make 2 bases, and the other are going to be proper honey boxes. So you're like, how do you make honey boxes? Well, you will also learn how to make crates now. So we had a lot of rope left, but we need threads. You don't make boxes like big boxes, you make tiny crates. And to make a tiny crate, you don't use a rope, you use a thread on the boards. And this is now a tiny crate. These tiny crates are super handy because you could also use them on your farm. However, I do not recommend using them on a farm at this stage. It's a little bit early for that. You might benefit from a crate just to carry your carrots around more easily. But even then, I kind of feel like it's not really necessary. So now that we are at this lemon tree, we're gonna put a bee box next to it. So basically fill the wooden crate with the honeycomb, and this makes a bee box. And this is basically everything this winter tree needs to at some point give us lemons again. And sadly, we might not see that in this life, like how that's going. We might not witness that during this lifetime, because it's RNG. We don't know when it's gonna happen, but when it does, I will definitely show you how it happened, and it will give us some honey too. So we also have this milkweed over here. Milkweed works as a flower, but 4 times less efficient. And you might be like, why is it 4 times less efficient? Because it only is a flowering stage for what, 20 seconds or something. It is flowering for such a short time. Look, it's flowering now. At this point, if there was a bee to come out of the hive and it went on the milkweed, then it would actually give honey if it landed back in the beehive. But we don't have a guarantee of that. So I'm gonna put that on here. And this is basically our little honey zone for now. That's it for the lesson. This is just us waiting now. There are a few important things that you must know. If I were to put the beehive over here, and I'd be like, yeah, this is the beehive that goes with that tree, it would never work because this beehive is in a different biome, so it wouldn't work. It needs to be in the same biome, and ideally just put it next to the tree where you can see it. What I sometimes also do in towns where I have trees that are just there for aesthetic, fruit trees, but not really a proper orchard or a honey farm, I might put the beehive behind the tree, and then you don't see it as well. It's still there and you can see it a little bit, but it's just like, it makes the rest of the farm a little bit more aesthetic. But in this case, I don't really care. I can put it on this side too. There we go. But I think the other side is better because if that bee lands on flowering milkweed, it could give us honey too. So what else do we need to prepare for the honey? I'm going to take some bowls. Some bowls. And I have made so much bowls, so just some bowls in case we do get honey. And we're going to take that linen cloth that we made, the linen sheet. I did say during the clothes making that I prefer using this for clothes, and usually that's true, but since I have wool clothes now, I don't really care, and we're just gonna put it down here like this. If we put the linen sheets in the bowl, we never take it out again. We leave it in. Well, you can take it out for a second, that's okay, and you can just move it to another thing. But if you leave this cloth now on the floor, it's used. And we didn't really use it, but it would despawn in an hour unless it's in that bowl. So we're just going to leave it in here. And this will be where we get our honey. Also, if you have trouble hearing me, my cat is in front of my mouth. So, mwah, kiss. Kiss for Vincent. Good boy. Um, so yeah, this is it for what we need to build in this particular location. But I'm going to go and show you what a better location would be, but only if it's close to your town. If it's not close to your town, like it isn't close for me, it's not going to work because I don't pass by there often enough. So we're going to look for a flower biome. And if you have a flower biome where you've settled down, that's fantastic. That is what you want. And if we go into this biome, we're checking if there's a flower biome. This is the tiniest flower biome ever. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's only 3 tiles big. Do you see it? Flower in the middle, tile above, and tile beneath. The flower biome is light green. If you wanted, this would be a perfect spot for one beehive. You would put the beehive here at the top, for example. The bee would come out of the hive. The bee cannot cross into other biomes, so it would go on this bottom tile if it's empty. Then it would come on this cornflower tile. It would be pollinated at that point, and it would go back in the beehive. And you'd have honey so easily if it wasn't this location. However, since I never come there, it wouldn't do anything unless I visited that spot all the time. Now we also have a flower biome over here. However, these snake plants, and one of them still has a little snake in there, it wouldn't work. If the plants are green, there's no flowers on them, and that's the case for snake plants, no flowers, so you won't get honey. Remember that if you see green plants. Monstera over here, green plant, wouldn't get you any honey. But we have these pink flowers, this red snapdragon, this morning glory. This would be a really nice spot. You just put it around here. Maybe even a few bee boxes. Make sure it's in the light green biome, the same biome as the flowers, and you would get honey here if your base was like over here. And on this side, once again, quite a bit of Monstera, that wouldn't work. Sunflower also doesn't work because it's a placeholder plant, as I call it. You might be like, what's a placeholder plant? There are a few plants in the game that don't have a purpose. Sunflower is one of them. You can't do anything with it but destroy it. But it means that if Moon, who is our dev, decides to add something, let's say for a moment Moon wants to add to the flower biome an animal. What's a cute animal? What's an animal that we don't have in the game yet that would live near water? Just thinking we do have a lot of ducks already, so it's not gonna be ducks. Let's say a heron, right? A heron, that big bird. Let's say he wants to add herons to the flower biome. He could then, after the next update, say, oh yeah, remember that useless plant, the sunflower? I'm going to replace all sunflowers with herons. So then, in this case, we would have 2 herons in this biome instead of 2 sunflowers. But if you've dug up your sunflowers, you wouldn't get any herons. So sometimes these items that are completely useless, you don't want to get rid of them all the time. However, it happens very little that new items get added that replace old things. It doesn't happen a lot. I haven't seen it much, or can't even recall any of those cases. But that is why these things are in the game, so that we don't constantly need map resets the moment Moon wants to add something new. You can just be like, oh yeah, I'm adding a new rock instead of these sunflowers, and you can just add that rock or a mine or whatever. And then you'd have a new mine or whatever instead of an already existing item, these sunflowers. But now I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here. So yeah, we also have clover over here. Clover is not a flower, but it is used for making floors. That's about all you can do with it. It's a very nice floor though. I really like clover floor as an accent tile. The blue flowers obviously would work, and there's also a pink flower here. It's all good. You could do it. Oh, it's a little ducky. Look at that. The ducky is in the water. So cute. Oh. Anyway, yeah, but that's this biome. So if you say, okay, well, I don't have a flower biome, but you have these fruit trees, you can get honey, but only if you pick all of them. You need to pick all of them like this, and then put a honey thing next to it, a honey box next to it, and then you might get new oranges. Same with the apple tree. Pick all of the apples, put a honey box next to it in the same biome. They're always in the green biome. I have seen people say, why doesn't it work? And then apparently their fruit tree was right next to a light green biome, and they had it in 2 separate biomes, and then it didn't work. So this is possible. Yeah, now you see how that works, sort of. So you learn a little bit more about how you get honey for your first time in the game. Now, before I can actually do much with honey, I would also need to make steel shears. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. Do I have steel shears? I have... No, I have bronze shears. The reason why I mentioned steel shears is because once I have steel shears, I could get a cutting from the flowers that are south, like a blue flower, get a cutting for it, and dip it in honey. So I need honey first. So first we're going to gather some honey, and afterwards we're going to make shears eventually, and then replant some flowers somewhere in this biome to make a proper honey farm. And I might make my honey farm maybe on top of the animal pen, because it's a very nice... I could do like a nice rectangle honey farm above it. And you kind of want to fence them in if the green biome is too big. Now, I wouldn't need to fence it in on this side even, because if the bee is biome locked and there's no fence on this side, it can't go very far. The border is already here, right? So I could just do like a little tile over here, little border over here, and then it can't go in that area and the bees can't get lost. So you don't always need fences for the bees. But yeah, that's about it. That's me on bees. I love honey, by the way. I have so many videos on making big honey farms and doing things with making forests. I have a video on how I made a magical forest, which is constantly processing honey, getting cuttings, planting them, watering them twice. It's a good video on how to get honey, and how to make a forest of your own. Since this seed is called Maple Fields 01, I want to make maple fields. So why I want honey is because I want to have a lot of honey so I can actually make a lot of maple trees and spread them all over the place where I'm not having buildings. And then this will actually feel like maple fields, and that would be fantastic. Now, for the next video, we're going to be continuing with new common. I hope you guys have started on your preparation so that you guys are ready to make a new common of yourself. I will be, if I don't forget it, I need to link to what we call a cheat sheet for the new common. I think Tazali made it. I'm not 100% sure if she was the one that made it, but Tazali is a fellow YouTuber who also has a lot of videos on 2 Hours One Life. And she's very useful in the ways that she makes a lot of cheat sheets for the very complex recipes. I personally do not like teaching complex recipes in a video because I feel like I forget things and then you guys know things wrong. So I would say you feel free to watch next video and to try and mimic what I do, but if you notice you get stuck, use the cheat sheet instead, so that you can sort of see how everything goes. So yeah, that's about it. Um, for this video, I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a little shorter than usual, but that's okay. And I'll see you guys around next time. See you around. Bye-bye.